Hello everyone. First of all, a very good afternoon, and I'll first start with a thank you. Thank you for joining us for our today's session, and along with you guys, even I look forward to a very informative session today. So Abhishek, the creative looks very interesting. So I'm looking forward to what we have in stock today. So yeah, I am the Panjana Shah. I work with the growth team at Extra Edge. So have been closely associated with the education industry since last more than 3 years, I guess now, and have tried to closely understand the processes, the problems, the challenges that every institute faces while going through the entire admission process. And our today's webinar is solely about that. So I'll first start with giving you a context about what we are going to talk uh, about today. So today we will be talking specifically about solutions, about tools, and about the various aspects of Extra Edge that any institute can use to solve their day-to-day admission activities, or day-to-day challenges that they face in maybe managing their admissions, or planning of scaling up to the next level, or maybe thinking about accurate predictions. So in the last webinar we spoke about certain problem statements and whether or not you can solve them, but today we will specifically speak about what solutions you can use to move towards that problem solving approach. Yeah. So before I go ahead and give you an introduction about our speaker and let him take over the dais, so certain instructions. So audios are on mute mode, but we will love to have comments and questions from you. We will have a dedicated Q&A section towards the end of the webinar. So I will request all the attendees to post all their comments in the chat section, which is on the right side of your screen, and questions specifically in the Q&A section, because questions may get lost in all the chats and comments that you see in the comment section. So please refrain from posting any questions in the chat section. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and introduce the man of the show today. So Mr. Abhishek Ballab. So he is our co-founder at Extra Edge. I guess that is something which everyone knows. So I'll go ahead and start with something which maybe not everyone present in the webinar today know about him. So Abhishek comes with expertise in product. So he has an in-depth experience and understanding of product and automation and the entire product management portfolio, which is helped, building up the product stack of Extra Edge. And not only Abhishek, but our co-founder, Mr. Sushil Mundada, also comes with a very in-depth knowledge of data analytics and all the success and all the, I would say the growth that Extra Edge has seen in the past few years is all because of their experiences and their knowledge of the industry and the problem solving approach. So in the past few years, Extra Edge has onboarded and successfully worked with 250 plus clientels. So we have onboarded customers across education industry. So we have worked with universities, we have worked with engineering colleges, B schools, overseas coaching, test prep schools, you name it. I guess Extra Edge has worked with everyone across the industries. And I can proudly say that we have onboarded, I guess, more than 4,000 plus end users. By end users, I mean the counselors, the admission teams at various institutes. Extra Edge has also raised 3 rounds of capital ventures. One of them is most recent, which is, I guess, already in the news as well, which is during the pandemic. And now we are a successful team of, and successful and strong team of 55 members. So everything that I speak about Extra Edge is all because of the vision that Sushil and Abhishek brings in. So and Abhishek is also heading the growth team at Extra Edge. So the growth that you see in terms of revenue numbers or the marketing or the ads that you see is all brains because of Abhishek. So that's Abhishek Ballab for you. And Abhishek, I'll hand it over to you. Please address the audience and let them know about the ventures.
Absolutely. So good afternoon, everyone who are attending. And Deepanjana, you have not spoken so fondly of me, so probably on this forum. So that's really, it's always good to hear good things about you. Generally, you as a founder, you don't. Generally, you are working and run things. So I think the success also is correctly attributed to all our customers because that's whom the needs we serve and that's who we solve for. So super excited to be on this webinar, and it's more of a show tell. The last webinar was, if few of you attended on the audience, was more of a tell that what are the challenges that other admission teams and brands or education brands are having, and how do we do about those challenges. Today, it's more empirical. We'll go into what did we do and what does success look like. So I would definitely want to focus on what does success in product looks like versus the challenge that admission teams and during the admission process that any education brand has. So that will be the focus. So super excited, Deepanjana, and the 5 must to have tools of scale, predict, and manage. Very excited to give a glimpse to all people in the audience. I think before I pass on to you again, we love to answer questions. This we believe is one of the very intimate way of interacting with people who are associated with this industry, which is like growing very, very quickly, the sales industry in education. So would love to see more questions, and we will promise you that we answer each and every question, if not on this webinar, but after the webinar, we'll send you those answers with detailed comments and hyperlinks or any corroborating documents. Devajana, over to you, and thank you very much for the kind introduction.
Thank you, Abhishek, for setting up the context. And yes, as Abhishek rightly said, please post your questions. We will be more than happy to attend each one of them. We'll try to attend them during the webinar itself, but if time doesn't permit, we'll try to reach out to you and answer those. So, Abhishek, let's start this session with talking about the major challenges in growth for the educational institutes, right? So you have been working with many institutes, and you have been speaking with many end users and decision makers, right? So what I have experienced is this, that uh, people do talk a lot about managing the manual work. So being part of the education industry, I have seen that there is a lot of mystery in the top of the funnel. When we talk about the top of the funnel or the leads or the data that is coming in, there is a lot of mystery around it. From where the data is coming and where the data is going, there is no proper tracking. So whether at all the lead is reaching the counselors, whether at all they're working on it or not, right? Which again, gives rise to the problem of suspects versus prospects. So am I reaching the right guy at the right time? Are they even knowing about us? So I would want you to address that, and I would want to know about the tools that you would suggest for solving these challenges.
Absolutely, Deepanjana. Very pertinent. I think the simpler things are very obvious, but often than not, they are not done correctly because people think that they will work correctly, but it does not work that way, right? So, and you see, it's a very interesting phrase called needle in the haystack problem. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a problem. Any brand wants to have leads, and they marketing dollars on different channels to get those inquiry to fill the top of the funnel. That's something that everybody understands, and predominantly everybody does that. But then what after that? How do you manage them? How do you segregate them? How do you bifurcate them? And and how do you make sure that whom do you talk to? It's a very interesting anecdote in startup ecosystem. We say that not everybody is your customer, right? If that's the case, then probably you have not done your customer segmentation right. So same, a student segmentation also needs to be done. Which geography, which demographic, what kind quality of the kids, but what marks in class 12th, they come to you. And I think a very clear understanding of that will be very helpful for brands to bifurcate the funnel. And you be marketer yourself, bifurcating and setting up the funnel around 50% of the work.
Yeah.
Because it's like the pillar, or the beam, or the baseline of a flat or a building. If the pillar and the architecture at the ground level is not set correctly, then whatever you build on top of it, right, the counseling team, outreach team, frameworks, and any processes, they will always be shaky at its best, right? So yeah.
One of our member in the audience is saying that audio is not that clear. So can we check?
Okay.
We check the internet.
Just give me a second. Are you able to hear me now, Deepanjana?
Yeah, it's clear for me. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay. Yeah. So Deepanjana, as I was talking about that, it becomes like a suspect versus prospect problem, and basically very critical and important to really understand and set the funnel right. And this is something that we should definitely spend some time to talk about that. What does how people set funnel today, because we work with more than 250 odd customers, and we have seen times funnel being set in a particular way which is not the right way, but a lot of times we help customers to set in the right way. So we'll also look at what right way looks like, right? But as I told you that it's more showing today than telling. So with permission, I would like to quickly segue and look at a couple of good examples how a good funnel looks like, right?
Yeah,
Are we
definitely.
good?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let me quickly segue there. Then I'll start with something very interesting. So I don't know whether it looks familiar to anybody or not. This is generally how people set their funnel.
Yeah.
You see these beautiful colors, red, green, yellow, blue, right? So basically think this is your data source with a green color, red color, blue color. These are your funnels. These are the guys who need to call today, take admission, this, that. People also color code it, set comments and things like that. So that's how a funnel looks like, Deepanjana.
Yeah.
And when it grows, it looks like this.
Yes.
Yeah. So and we all do that without any tool product. This looks like this, and at the start it looks very simple and elegant like this, but as you keep on progressing it looks like this.
Yes.
And it's like this is an infinity that keeps on going. And then how do you know what is happening, and how do you know which funnel that should I call the stages as the funnel, should I call the sources as the funnel, should I call the actions of the counselor as the funnel, right? So that becomes a question. So I think, but the good part, Deepanjan, is that the teams are very familiar with the concept of spreadsheet. And look at from the first principle, the concepts of funnel. There are tabs, and every tab contains bifurcation in the form of status. And under every status, there are prospects whom you would reach out, talk, and communicate to view their credentials. I mean, that's what it is, right? At the end of the day, a very simple view.
Yes.
That's what we have done with Extra Edge in the product. We have concept of spreadsheet, what we were used to doing it without changing the human or the behavior of the people, how they used to work, and bring it back into the product. And when I was like smiling in my mind when you say that product experts, right? I think more than product experts, we study human psychology, how people currently solve the problem, and we try to take back into the product. So product is more user psychology than you would imagine to, and that's the analogy. If you look at our product, right? People work with a lot of raw data, so they buy a lot of data, and when they buy a lot of raw data, they want to verify that data. They want to know that whether that guy opened that email or not, whether the mobile was verified or not. So, you have a funnel here that takes care of all the lead details and bifurcates them. And probably on the raw data, your top conversion teams might not work. Your telecaller will work. I mean, that's how it is, right? But on your Google AdWords and leads that come from different sources or marketing dollars spent, right? You will work the right guys, and you see the funnel is different here, very very clearly, right?
Yeah.
So and if this goes and progresses from leads to the application, right? Then it's basically this guy is very near to taking admissions.
Yes.
Then here the funnel is entirely different. Now it sounds so simple to you. You see that this progression from the world of Excel sheets, right, to the product, and not changing the user behavior and human psychology that people are used to, because they are working on admissions on sheets and spreadsheets and tools anyway, right? It's not that they're not doing anything. And moving on to that, this, and having the bifurcation set, having customization in the bifurcation becomes very critical and very very important. This is something that I thought that I'll talk about that. And rather than showing a product, I'm just showing that how currently things look like, and how currently things evolve, but how this thing can be easily transformed into concept of tabs and a concept of list and bifurcation here. And it's very simple. I want to know that which are the guys probably who filled my step 3 or who filled my step 1, and I click on it. I directly go to that particular prospect, these are the three guys. I know this guy is A, B, C, whoever that guy is, and I quickly move from the funnel to Smita, Karthik, and Mr. App Form, right? I quickly go and talk to them. So I think that's the first thing I would, want to talk about, and I want to, kind of reflect on that. That's where we see that the concept of funnel and bifurcation of the funnel correctly becomes very critical and very important.
True. Yes.
Over to you, Deepika. Yeah.
Yes, Abhishek, definitely. I think categorizing funnel is very important. And as you showed the Excel sheet, it was so familiar that I could see my, daily work or anything. I guess everyone is quite familiar with the spreadsheet concept, and funneling is very important.
And Deepanjana, it's funny. I think the Excel sheet and Google sheet is a metaphor.
Yeah.
The metaphor is probably you are using an in-house ERP or you are using any kind of inbuilt system. They're not bad or they don't work. It's not that. They definitely work. That's why they are there in the first place. But do they do the job and do they correct every time?
So are they the correct fit for me? So that's the question, I guess.
Absolutely. And is that what success can look like? I think that's a beautiful question. And the answer often than not is, which people themselves realize that no, it's not.
Definitely. So talking about managing part, right, Abhishek, what I also feel that managing is something which I guess institutes are already there. So I guess they understand this. They understand that, creating an automated funnel or channelizing the entire team and bringing in the data at one place so that there is no lead leakage is very important. Yeah. But what is more crucial and what I have seen lately, mostly after this pandemic phase, is how do I scale up? How do I grow? How do I go from X to Y? Right. So now the scaling can be anything. The scaling can be in terms of conversions, right? So how can I reach the correct guy at the correct time? What kind of correct messaging should I write? Should I increase my mode of communication or my number of communication cycle that I, go on with a particular lead? Or the scaling can be in terms of team as well. So how do I manage a team of 4 and then make it 40? Right. Absolutely. And how can I automate the application process so that there are automated applications coming in and my team are not bothered about, okay, how many functions of application have happened today, right? So the scaling can be in terms of communication or team or conversion, right? Yeah. So how do you think about scaling? How does automation tool help in scaling efficiently?
So Deepanjana, I mean, a lot of post-pandemic, right? They do a pretty decent job of managing, I would say. Not always a great job, but a decent job in managing. They're used to it. But I think when every company or every brand or education brand wants to scale, I mean, that's natural progression of growth that everybody will see. It's just a matter of time. And taking the analogy of the building that I was talking about, right? So now my base is set, and now my beam is set. Now the workers will come start to help me build the building up, right? So how do I make sure that people who are helping me build that building being the admission, cadence or admission structure to it, are they doing their job as per the expectations? As beautifully put, that I want to ensure that the counselors do not miss follow-ups. Like it's like a metaphorical analogy of doing the job every time correctly. And that's where we see that predominantly these people they miss their follow-ups, and that's because of lack of the right communication, the right time during the admission journey, right? At the same time, when people work from home, tracking them, managing, and kind of seeing whether they're doing it right or not. So there are two aspects to it. One is that the counselors, first of all, personally empowered, with the right kind of sets of tools, and do they have the right intelligence to understand the student journey? So journey is very, very important, and the tool follows next. And second is that, do the people who are managing or monitoring or probably have a big team, do they have clarity on the remote workforce performance? Do they know they are winning or not? So these are the very clear, important two critical aspects, Deepanjana, that we should talk about and look at, and every brand should look at these things, right? So following to it, this is more tell today than show. So quickly segueing to and kind of to that, how this particular cadence works. Right? So if you look at it very interestingly, the bifurcation and the communication, first of all, needs to be in autopilot, right? Just to give you a sense of it, there are a lot of that could be built in the product. Flipkart and Amazon does not send you an SMS. I mean, there are rules that are built in the place. So what we fundamentally do is that for all the brands, for example, in this case, if the application has started the stage and the modification greater than 1 day, then probably I would want to send an SMS and email series of templates on the basis of time and delivery to it, right? So the workflow and sequences can always be set, and they should be set in the system, right? So this is basically, I know my journey, so I know communication should go at what point in the journey. That's very predictable because admission funnel does not change every year. It more or less the same. So this kind of, I would say, automation really helps a lot in that matter. So that's A, right? Another very important thing, Deepanjana, which I would like to mention, which we were during the application journey or applicant journey, is basically what's happening with the journey. So let me show you a beautiful orchestrating of journey. So this is the journey of a candidate over a period of time, right? Now things are happening with the candidate. I asked that what is happening with Jayant, and a lot of times the end users, the counselors, have need to go and they need to understand what's happening on which date. Whole journey in a timeline series or time series is very, very important. So for 20th of May, right, there were some discussions and deliberations happened. On 25th of May, more had happened. I want to also listen to the call recording probably once upon a time, a call back tomorrow. So this whole very clear cadence helps me to understand that how it is going, what kind of emails have been sent to this particular guy. This is a missed escalation. So while the journey is clear to me, Deepanjana, right, then the very important part comes that now I will want to communicate it, and all forms of communication, right, from a phone call, probably an email to the candidate using predefined templates, or maybe a text message. All these things are very much possible, but these things most people already do. It's just that you put in a structured way, in a streamlined way, and in a better way. Now the kicker that how can we surprise you? What more further onto it? So the surprise is that you can just immediately start a video with the candidate. So I've started a video call with a candidate. I bring the candidate and his on the call. We are sharing screen. They are seeing me. They're talking to me. We are chatting here. And we are having a very clear cadence. And while I'm talking to the kid, he tells me that how can I make the payment, and I want to start immediately, right? So I immediately send him a payment link. You can just make a token amount of 10,000 with expiry date of Sunday, and you can just get started. So the link is generated, and you can send the link to it. And if the guy says that, hey, I would also want to get some details, so I may go further from the product itself, send him a WhatsApp. So this is something, Deepanjana, I really wanted to show you that now from extra, at least send WhatsApp to the candidate, right? So, I can just say, and I can start talking to him right away in this case. And while I start to do that, now I'm talking to him on WhatsApp and sending him docs and PDF and details and attachments from a template here itself. So this is our details. I just forwarded him those details. So I think this kind of cadence which a millennial or Gen Z or Gen Y student or parent is used to, like talking on WhatsApp, on video, as we are doing, and giving that power in the hands of the counselors to to use these tools, Deepanjana, more effectively, more easily, the way they do things, along setting the automation engine in the first place, so that nobody needs to figure their brains out. They're just doing personalized one-on-one communication with Jayant on a regular basis, right? So I think that will be a very critical aspect that I wanted to touch and talk about. That we need to be human for counselors, if you know, right? And we need to make it human for the kid on the other side. The way he was communicating to probably his friend or a father, he was communicating in his office with his colleagues. It's video, it's chat, it's emails, and it should be simple, smooth, and it should be on a consistent basis going. And just to add to the second part of how do you monitor them, a very clear kind of, I would say, a cadence between the teams, that what my people are doing on a regular basis. And we can build many analytics, we could have dashboards and things like that, but how can I quickly go to that particular guy and see that what he did in the last 90 days? I said that guy, tick, tick, tick. I go and I check, this is the funnel looks like. These are the guys. This is my funnel. Who are these 15 odd guys? The data is in front of me very, very immediately, very, very quickly. So it's like, that empowers decision maker of admissions, or the CEOs and owners of the institute to measure the performance of people without getting into hearsay and this guy said that, this guy said that. Data speak for all, as Narayan Murthy says. In God we trust, let's bring data to the table. So so that's what I would say, that the two aspects of empowering the counselors from a communication perspective and empowering the management and the counseling head or admission head with the analytics becomes very critical. That's the true recipe to scale, my friend.
Yes. So what I hear from you, Abhishek, is that you mean that moving from manual to automation. So manual versus automation, somewhere between there is the key to scaling up and growing and reaching that success that we were talking about in our
Absolutely.
webinar and today.
Yep.
So Abhishek, so you have a very interesting approach towards both the problems that I stated, right? So one thing that I want to bring up next is one of my personal favorite. So we have spoken a lot about predicting and predicting accurately, right? So we are a generation, or we are a bunch of people who bang on to their past experiences, right? So scaling and managing will come from the past experiences. What mistakes did I did in the last admission session? So what do I need to change? This is something which I have always felt is missing somewhere in the admission processes or in the admission mindset. We tend to forget to take data backed experiences. I would say data backed experiences. We don't rely onto that, and I would want to ask you, in a generation wherein we bang on to past experiences, but we also talk about a lot of AI, ML, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. So a lot of hype around it. So how do you merge them both? Like, how do you help institutes to understand from their past data that who are those people who are actually taking admissions, who are those people who are actually showing genuine interest in taking the admissions, who are these people and why are they showing those interests? So there must be some USPs, right, which the institutes must be selling to those students and for which the students are taking admission with them, right? So how do you bifurcate those USPs? How do you understand those correct ISP, I would say, ideal student profile in the terms of institute? So how do you do that? So how do you merge both of them? It's something I would really want to know.
Yeah, so as you rightly said, AI ML has a lot of hype and promise around it, but the promise has not yet been fully delivered. But a bit of machine learning and its usage we see across all spheres of in the apps and things we use. I think one of the things about applying any kind of intelligence, and I come from a machine learning background myself, and I could say that is you really need to have good data. And surprisingly for institutes, they have a very huge relatable set of data of admissions, because a lot of people apply. There is calls, emails, messages, applications done. A lot of people don't take admissions, and few people take admission. That's how it works. It works like a power law there, and so can be learned by looking at patterns, right? So it's more pattern recognition and a bit of machine learning than it's AI or a big to it. And I'll tell you, we worked with a few of the brands, and a very good testament is one of the biggest vocational institutes in India, more than 40 odd centers. And we deployed this solution there. To a surprise, we were getting comments from the counselors and admission executives like, we never thought this guy admission, but now, because of his score, this guy seems interesting. And he may probably go ahead. And he said to me, I called him based on his score. So the question is that is the score relevant? The answer is, of course, yes. Anybody leverage it? Of course, yes, right? And the third is that definitely I need to get to the right 60 guys, 120 guys, 240 guys. I mean, it's like, if you think about it, it's like admission is like an optimization problem, that how quickly I need to identify those guys and get seats filled, and we go ahead from there. So from that perspective, definitely we can look at a lot of parameters, some leading indicators like, did that guy clicked on my email, clicked on my SMS, did he guy went to my website, how much did he spend? These are very simple indicators. To a lot of tough indicators like, how much time did it took to respond to me? Did he call me immediately after 5 hours and things like that? Is he always giving an inbound call, or do we need to make an outbound call? What's the duration of the call with the guy? we found that more the call, more he's interested. Did he do a video with me or not? And things like that. So just to give you a sense of it, I think how this looks like. So on a overall level, if you look at any, so let's look at a very interesting candidate called, Jim Jones, right? So if I look at Jim Jones, right, so it tells me a very interesting parameter that, this guy, Jim Jones, he's in a funnel stage, and you can measure multiple things. So let's look at this, like, so this is what we call sentiment score. Counselors love to punch comments. They punch comments left, right, and center. I mean, they are salespeople at the end of the day, like you, right? They punch comments. They make calls. Now we are working to convert those comments into sentiment, because every comment is a sentiment after the phone call was made, it was done. So we convert it into sentiment and talk about whether it's a positive, it's a neutral, it's a negative. So that's one thing. Then we look at factors. This guy is opening my email, how much times he goes to my website, is the incoming call done or not done? And on the basis of that, we automatically start to move the score of fitment of this candidate over a period of time. So think about it like, it's like a shadi.com or jeevansathi.com. Kind of like that guy, but now you're knowing more about him, your propensity towards that guy is increasing bit by bit over a period of time, right? When you have more data. So that's what we do. And we generate what we call as a sentiment score, or kind of prediction score, opportunity score, what we call. Now, he's here. Now, Abhishek, how does it matter to my counselor? What should I do next after this, right? So we go one step further, Deepanjana, and we start to suggest to the counselors that what you should be doing with this lead. In this case, you see, it's saying we suggest you to send an email today, right? And when you go and create this activity, it will be marked for it. And now we are working on the next Deepanjana, where we will decide which emails are right and we'll send to the guy, right? So that automation is also definitely possible, because we know which kind of emails led to last year. I set this up and the score is done. And what we have seen on an operational level, that people filter on the score and they know these are all high score candidates, 75, 69. Now they start their operations, they start their metrics on a level. So you see that it's very interesting. This guy, he was inactive for some time, but on 25th of, on 18th of November, something happened that day. Maybe an event happened. He went on a website, he shot up from 70 to 69%. This is the Deepanjana where the magic happens. You need to catch this signal and you need to do something. And it could be as simple as that. This guy was really good. He's saying, I will give him a call right away. And you give right away from here itself, and customized email from the funnel right away. That it seems that, thank you very much. I mean, like, we would really want to get in touch with you. So, I mean, I can keep on talking about it. It's like a very interesting favorite area for all. It's very exciting. Yes. On an operational level, for a counselor and admission team, how to sort on the basis of the score and not always on the basis of gut and the modification date, right? And start their admission cadence, admission operations, and calling based on that. I think that will be absolutely wonderful. And I think that is definitely possible. No hype, real data and facts, right?
So very interesting, Abhishek. So what we are saying, that the system will not only predict based on your past experiences, but will also suggest what future activities and what kind of follow-up actions you need to take, along with the content suggestion as well.
That's what happens in any kind of the dating sites I was talking to. They suggest you these are the kind of guys or girls or and things. So the marital analogy is very, very interesting, because that thing, you really need to move to the right person. So any machine learning or any intelligence which just tells and not suggests is basically incomplete. It's still incomplete. After suggesting, ideally you should suggest and also go ahead and do it for you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think we are gradually towards that path. So we will surely do that.
Yeah, I think go back to the context. I think it's very important, Deepanjana, that we look at the admission process. Also, that how much human labor can be removed.
Yes.
I love admission counselors, right? Those guys, those young women, young and who work with us, the 4,000 people. Those are our bread and butter. I mean, and if we can, via product and via help of admission heads, right, remove their labor. I mean, time could be spent to more talking to the prospects, convincing them to their goals and paths. And that is like a constant fever of pursuit. So prediction is a pursuit, like pursuit of happiness. It's a constant pursuit that we keep on getting better. But nothing can replace a counselor, empathy, calling a student or a parent and convincing him to join. I mean, nothing can ramp that, I would say.
Yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, I think we covered that, and I'll quickly kind of wrap up in the last and hand over to you and take some more questions to it. So I think we spoke about this. So all the people present in the audience, I would say that the way we are in today in education in post-pandemic era, that digitalization is an existential thing that everybody needs to do, and digitalization of admissions is very, very important. If you look at this slide on the right hand side in the corner are all the places from demand comes to you, right? Left hand side is the all different engagement tools that you have at your disposal, which I showed you. If you marry both of them, basically come new age platform where a lot of value can be delivered to admission, outreach, marketing, counselor teams, digital marketing teams, and your partners and publishers. And you can have admission insights, you can have ROI out of your channels, you can optimize your channels through which you generate leads and spend your money on. And finally, you can use a intelligence, if not intelligence, to take more meaningful data driven decisions. And it's something, so I'll make a prediction, Dipanjana, in the next 3 everybody will have this, right? Today it's not mainstream, but people will move towards it now, and we will literally talk about it. But this is what future looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, over to you, Dipanjana.
Yes. So before we move on to the next section, I will again remind our audience to post in their questions. So we will soon start with the Q&A session. So Abhishek, would you want to go ahead and publish the poll now, or we should start with few questions and then take the poll?
Yeah, I think definitely we could go ahead and could publish the poll. I think poll you should be accessible, Dipanjana, to start the poll. Just give me a second.
Yes, I am. So should I?
Yep. Start the poll. So, guys, a small poll would really, request all of you, and we'll take some questions. There are some questions also we could see, so we'll take some questions. But would be really helpful if some of the questions, the poll answers come to us, then we'll be able to fine tune our offering. So there's a question from Nikhil, which somebody has asked, that is the tool product is useful for schools or universities? From Harshida. Harshida, yes. First of all, thank you for joining. Absolutely, Harshida. This is primarily meant for helping schools and university admission teams to increase their conversions, optimize their cost of acquisition. So counselors can use to manage the funnel, do meaningful engagement, understand the student journey, and drive the prospects, towards admitted students. So yes.
So I would again remind everyone to take the poll, guys. It just take 2 minutes. And it will be very crucial feedback from you guys for planning the topic for our next session, in understanding whether we could answer all your queries or not. So yes.
So in the meanwhile, let's take some more questions. So Nikhil, do we have more questions?
So Abhishek, I have one question which we received during our registration that we were doing for the webinar. Mm-hmm. So this question is around reports and analytics. So someone has asked that, is the system capable of giving the kind of customized reports that is required at any point of time to manage admissions effectively, right? And what are the capabilities of this CRM for report generation?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in this industry, some sort of reports, Dipanjana, are very standard, right? That what's the ROI of marketing spend, what's the performance of the counselors, how's the quality of calling. These are very standard auditing metrics that people track in the industry, lead to walk-in to enrollment. But we also understand that every brand works and operates in a very different way as far as their admissions are concerned, right? So in that regard, ability to or customize the dashboards for teams, and make sure that they fit their business and their analytics needs, and not the product will they have to fit to the product limitations, right? So the BI engine that we have, the business intelligence dashboards, are pretty exhaustive, pretty extensive, and if there is a custom requirement or custom dashboard that needs to be created, the system and the product is fully capable of doing that, and we have done it at cases that we work with. So yes.
Okay. Okay. So we have another question from Neeti. I guess someone in the audience have asked us. So it's basically a comparison question. So what is better education CRM? Is it something like Extra Edge or other CRMs like Salesforce, HubSpot, etc.?
I think it's like, how do I say? So which is better, Pepsi or Coke, right? I think both sell, people have their own affinity. I think the more important question here is that you know, uh, what fits, what is right for you. Now, and I'll give you a quick example, Dipanjan. It's a good question. So Salesforce was created for VP of sales and CXOs of large and big organization with a lot of Salesforce, right? HubSpot was created for marketers to probably do marketing and SEO and analysis and landing optimization and things like that, right? So every product, if you see, is meant for a certain use case to it in this case. So and that's very important. So there was another very good example is that you have Big Basket.
Yeah.
Amazon has also started grocery selling, but Big Basket is still a leader there. So in this case, I would say that Extra Edge is a leader in education CRM, built for education. As you rightly said, we work with 250 odd customers across segments. So what happens is that we become experts in the problems that admission faces in the Indian education ecosystem, and now we have abroad too. So I would say that all these products are good products. It's just that if you have an education business or you're associated with one and you have a CRM use case, you should definitely take a look at education for CRM first. So I'm not saying you don't look at other ones. You look at probably most or all the ones you want to, but definitely take a look at also an education CRM. Often than not, that will be your choice.
Great. Okay. So we have another interesting question from Mr. Manoj. So he is asking that, do we have any capabilities or facility to track expenses?
Okay. So Manoj, good question. We have capability of somewhat tracking your expense of your marketing spend. So what happens that universities spend money with publishers and digital marketing teams and the journalists. Most people do Google AdWords and FB ads to it. So what they do is that they would also want to send back the what we call cost per lead or cost per acquisition or cost per million back to us, that data. And we can get the data back into the system along with the leads, and then help you to do a kind of channel-wise attribution of spend. So for example, this quarter you spent around 10 lakh rupees in Facebooks, got around 200 odd leads, out of which 20 people took admission, and the fees was around 3 lakh rupees. So for 10 lakh spend, your revenue was 60 lakh rupees. So it's 1:6. And then that's an overall metric. And then there are other metrics. Did this particular display campaign work well? Did a post work well? Did a boosted post work well? Did a text-based campaign work well? What worked well? So you can go by campaign and then go dive into it, and then you can go even more minor in minute. I mean, Nikhil from our team is an expert in that, into keywords, that which keywords work well for us, and what kind of for us, what we call campaign name. So you can go detail into it. So from a fee or from an expense perspective, you can definitely track marketing expense, but there could be many different types of expenses in education, flow itself, but we only cater to the marketing side to it. So that definitely you can track.
So Mr. Manoj has again rewrote his question, and he has specifically asked for expenses done on marketing and admission. So I guess we have answered this question.
Absolutely. That is definitely we can do that, and you should do that. And just to add to it, Dipanjana, a lot of times when you work, Manoj sir, with digital marketing team or compatriot, right? They also sheepishly love transparency. Although they will want to create a dashboard and send to you, but when it's a single source of truth for them and you, then I think conflict starts to go down a lot.
Yes, definitely. So moving on to the next question, Abhishek. The question is from Miss Aarti Rajesh. So the question is, currently we are managing all the data in Google Drive and Comfortable. Could you please differentiate these two?
Currently.
So I guess she is trying to understand in between Google Drive, Google Sheets, or maybe the automations that are there in the market. Yeah.
So yeah. So again, so ma'am, would want some more details on what the size of the organization and the team. But I would say that Google Sheet is a good starting point. I like to say that Google Sheet is a good starting. It's a good starting point to develop the process. So as founder Sushil says that build the process first and the tool comes later, right? So Google Sheet allows you to build the process, how the funnel looks like, how the bifurcation looks like, what are the tabs that there in the sheets, how the channels will be. So it's a good way to articulate it and structure it. It will work in small scale when you have around 2 to 3 counselors. It will work for you. But as soon as you go 5 and beyond, okay, it's people of it. People can change the values, sheets. You don't have history. You cannot send an email in a Google Drive and Sheets, and you would want to send communication. So as you move progress and you move upwards or even a bit upwards, the good ballpark figure is 5. If you're touching that, Google Drive will chase or Sheets will not. You have to move to a CRM. Right? Yeah. So that's the so the bad news is that you have to move. So there is a kind of a movement learning curve there. But the good news is that you will get a better version of probably spreadsheets that probably you right now.
The next question is from Mr. Alexandra Rotar. So he asked, out of these 250 institutes you worked with, what was the average time for counselors to learn and adapt to this platform? Do you provide training for the same, and how?
I think this is the question of this webinar. So Alexander, I think if we would have a gift hamper, we would have given you. So maybe we will. So thank you very much for the question. I think it's a very good question. And before that, I will tell you that the hidden part here is that hiring good counselors, where extra just the picture. I think whatever I that hiring good people who have an experience in education marketing or who are excited about helping the kid at the end of the day, I think it's often missed. So I would say that if you get good people who are motivated, who wants to help the kid at the end of the day or the for his course and his career, I think that's a very good starting point. Second, I would say that on extra edge, what we is that generally people take to really get hands-on and very familiar with that probably around 2 to 3 weeks. They are very hands-on, more than that. I think the trick here is to hire good guys and to make them be in the platform, in the product itself, that will help them in their jobs. Okay, and that will probably help them in their promotions and their own KPIs. Once people know that, it will help them do their job well, and it will be beneficial for their career. People learn all kinds of complex products, right? So it is a fairly simple product in that way, I would say.
Okay, so the next question. So before we move on to the next question, I still see that only 40% of our audience have appeared for the poll. So I will request the others as well to take the poll. I haven't ended it yet. So kindly please go ahead and give your 2 minutes for answering this poll. So meanwhile, the next question, Abhishek, is what are the future of CRM technologies in education industry? What kind of new technologies can we expect?
Yeah, I think again a very good question. Nobody knows. That's the short answer. What we can look and kind of make a conjecture is that it will be more digitally driven. So online ADS events will subside even post pandemic, and it will be more digital led. That one. Second, I think the mediums of voice will play a very critical role. Video and calling is still there, but video and call, a combination of both of them will play a very, very important role there, I would say. And third, mostly I would say that uh, understanding admission cycles of last 10 to 15 years is a great I would say of information that is lying tapped. So if we could tap that and bring it to you and customize and configure based on your own education brand, I think that will be really great. I mean, if you look at future of any CRMs like Salesforce or any SAP, Salesforce moved to Einstein, I mean, which is the engine. So that's the future. You move to more helping the marketing and the outreach team to predict revenues month on month, quarter on quarter. That's the holy grail, and that's how education so build workflows to automate the work of a counselor, use things like robotic process automation, and use things like machine learning to make workflow more automated and easier going forward. That's where I see digital led demand gen, more voice based and voice and call based. And third is that understanding your own history to automate the labor of the counselors using RPA and a bit of machine learning to generate scores, and to get you to the right treatment very quickly. These are the three things that I see, as a future.
Great. So the next question is from Jayant. So his question is, what are the different automations available in the system for different stakeholders at an organization? So from a counselor point of view, from an admission and marketing head, and for a decision maker.
So it's again a very good question. So basically, what will an admission head want? Admission head will want, I get a report of uh, all the kind of counselors and their calling at 6 o'clock on my email. That's what they want, right? That I do not have time into a lot of systems. I just need a report on my email. I quickly see a table and chart, my lead to walk into enrollment, my number of calls, outgoing calls, call connected, average call time, right? Number of enrollments done at a day, number of walk-ins movements. I would want to see these things. So the automation here for them is that, can you automate a report which takes multiple, kind of add motions, Deepanjana, and combine it in a beautiful graph or a chart and send it to them. That could be a automation for them. For the marketing team, the automation could be that if this guy started to fill my application form but disappeared mysteriously, can I keep on nudging to do that on the first day, 10th day, 15th day till the time? Can these emails and WhatsApp go to him automatically? So that would be a beautiful automation for a marketing person. For a counselor or for a counseling agent, the automation could be that, that when the leads come in, are they getting automatically allocated to a expert? So for example, we work for university, you are an expert in MBA admissions, I'm an expert in MCA admissions. You should never get inquiry, but often they're not, that happens, you get that inquiry. You don't have the script, so you would not be able to do justice to that inquiry. Is the assignment happening automatically or not? That could be one more. So, I think there are different levels of automation, and fourth, and one of the one that an inbound call comes to you, and that guy on IVR selects MBA, then it should land to Anjana, not to Abhishek. So yeah, that's a calling automation that's happening. And same with outbound. You click, we have you click the call gets, so it's recording automation. So I think, Jayant, to answer your question, different degrees of people who have different motivations in the admission process. There are different levels of automation, as simple as automating the reports, to lead assignment, to automating communication and engagements, and to automating calling and calling cases.
Okay. So, Abhishek, we have another question with regards to counselors. So, there is this anonymous attendee. I don't have his name. So, he wants to know, do we conduct any training certifications for our counselors?
Yeah, absolutely. So, recently we have started, to do that. We have successfully certified a few of the universities. One of our colleagues, Suprita, who heads our growth team, she initiative. So, see, yes, we do, and we are a very initiative. And if the opportunity presents to work with your brand, we will be more than happy to take them through the certification where they'll become officially extra certified counselors.
So, Mr. Manoj wants to know, Abhishek, about what are the scope of trial phases with Extra Edge?
Sure. So Manoj sir, definitely we could do a pilot, and we can, there is a comfort that to that whether this will work for us. So we understand that there is always a sense of skepticism at the start for systems and tools. So we can definitely do, kind of a pilot, and we can probably talk about it offline about, modalities around the.
Okay. So we have another question. How much investment are we looking at for, let's say, 10 counselors for a good CRM?
Okay, so it's like, it's like saying that I have 5 people in the house, what's the budget for a dinner, right? So it's very difficult to say that. Probably you can spend 5 lakhs or you can spend 500 rupees too. So it's like, let me try to revisit this question in a bit, right? So I, from a top-down approach, Deepanjana, I say that, what is my revenue? What's my marketing budget? And how much in the marketing budget I can for robust marketing and CRM, admission CRM, right? Generally, what we have seen, Deepanjana, is that brand between 4% to 6% of the marketing budget to a CRM. Yeah. Now, that budget probably can be that does not mean that they will spend 40 lakh rupees. We'll normalize it too in that case, or they might spend 40 lakh also. So I would say that please ask this question that, for example, if your revenue brand is around 50 lakh and your marketing spend is around 10 lakh, for example, then you should not spend around 3 to 4 lakh rupees in a CRM, which probably is what a good education CRM will cost you, right? So the answer to the question does not lie in what would 10 cost me, but it would lie in what's your revenue, what's your marketing budget, and then you can spend CRM. What we have seen is that brands who spend between 75 lakhs to a crore marketing are the right fit for somebody like Extra Edge. And we have brands who spend probably around 70% of our customers spend more than a crore in marketing. So that's their budget that they have. So if you do that mathematics, you will come to a objective answer of how much you should spend for 10 users, rather than a subjective answer that probably seems expensive or this being seems cheap, I would say. Does that make sense?
Definitely. We have another question from Mr. Ravi Dharmarajan. So he wants to know, in a summarized manner, how we can help him or help their institute in their admission process.
Okay, the simple and funny answer is that sign up on Extra Edge, but I think that's not the right answer. So that is one of the right answers. I think the important thing is that we should have a dialogue. We should talk. A lot of times, Ravi, that when we go on a call, our idea is not to sell. The idea is to understand. So there are a lot of times when we go on a call, understand that particular brand might not be the right fit for us. Like they are in the lower range and things like that. So we build a good relationship. We educate them about what they could do with current budget and what are some of the best practices. And there are a lot of material content, ebooks available. Again, my colleague Nikhil, who's on the panel, right, can probably share that with you, and you can take a look and about it, right? I would say that starting to have a dialogue first, and 40 minutes call is the good starting point for the discussion.
Definitely. So we have another question from Jayant. So he asks, does Extra Edge CRM help us to get important insights to optimize our lead generation campaigns on real time?
Yes, Jayant. So definitely yes. What happens is that a very critical aspect for any marketer working in education brand is to make sure that all the channels through which the demand top of funnel flows in, right, immediately comes into Extra Edge directly via that very tightly coupled integration where the leads leak, so as to speak. So when that happens, eventually the other thing happens which you have asked. So when all the leads are coming in and in one go, and there's a single system of truth, right, then you can understand the performance. You can understand that what ROAS, or what we call return on ad spend, or return on channel spend, all that could be very correctly attributed, because we also track at the end of the day, or have the capability to track the amount of money spent on every campaign and channel to it. So yes, so we also do that, and we have a lot of capabilities to do that using our analytics. Deepanjana, I think we should quickly talk about the gift hamper, if that's okay.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So should I end the poll? I guess.
Yep, please. So Deepanjana, over to you. So, yep.
Yeah. So this is a special gift hamper that we have kept for all our attendees. So we do realize, right, that these are challenging times. So the market and the spending scenarios have changed since the pandemic, and we do understand that challenging time asks for challenging measures, and brands are saving on cash, obviously, for obvious reasons, and we do appreciate that. But on the other hand, we also understand the urge to start using automation tool. We understand that institutes feel that this is very super critical at this point for them to grow. So this is a special offer that we have bought in for all our attendees who have taken this one step ahead to come and join us in the webinar, ask questions, take interest in the automation tools, and let us know that we have people who do want us to work better and who want us to serve them, right? So this is a special offer for you, 20% off on our base price that we have currently. And this offer is not only for the attendees, but also for the references that we get from you. So any kind of references we will be more than happy to have from your end. And The only criteria valid for this offer is that you have to sign up with us in the next 14 days. By sign up, I mean you need to go to our website www.xtraedge.com, and there is a book a schedule option. You need to schedule a demo, and we will be more than happy to talk to you about the commercials, about the features, and all the automations that we have. So the offer is valid till next 14 days and only for our attendees and the references that we get through our attendees.
Sure.
So we hope to have a chat with most of our attendees and have a good discussion with you all.
Yeah, I think important thing for all of people, who have written, thank you very much. And important thing is that you will need an automation, and we want to make sure that, rather than sounding a discount and things, we offer it to people who we feel are interested in, and the people who have come on to this webinar are probably the people who know who themselves are, or who know a first degree connection who may be interested in, because we have a very deeply connected fraternity of education marketers in the country today. So please avail this and forward it to people. We will be more than happy to accommodate these requests and help them solve their problems. And some of the questions that they're asking in the form of those problems, we'll be able to solve that, right? So again, so I would really, from bottom of my heart, thank you all of you to attend, and thank you, Deepanjana. Before I hand over to you, so it was more of a tell today, bit of and along with a lot of show, and and very excited, to probably plan and take it to the next on the poll and the input and feedback we have got. But it's really exciting to again have a dialogue with you and to also answer questions from the audience. So what do you?
So Abhishek, before we wrap up for today, so there is one question from Mr. Manaswini, Miss Manaswini. So she is asking about the capabilities of the software to deal with the candidate life cycle. So she asked that the candidate or the recruitment life cycle is much similar to that we have over student, and we curate the data, we store them, and we have the applications in it. So what are the capabilities of our CRM in that? Do we cater into that?
So Manaswini, basically on a theoretical construct, you're right. The model remains same, similar way for a recruitment workflow to it. But for that, you have different products where you would want to use a applicant tracking system or a HRMS to do the job. And a lot of Xtraedge ends up into these kind of systems like an ERP or a HRMS or a ATS. So I would say that what if you have that use case, you should try to find a good applicant tracking system, and there are really tons of those good products available there.
So Abhishek, I guess we are done answering all the questions. So I would like to thank all our attendees for joining us today, being here till the end, asking interesting questions and allowing us to show you the entire or interesting tools that I would say that we have at Xtraedge for solving your admission related queries. So the video of this webinar will be available on your email soon. So anyone who have joined in late or have missed some part of the webinar, you will be receiving an email from our end. If you want to schedule a demo and if you want to talk with our experts, you can go and visit our website, which is www.xtraedge.com. Our panelist, Mr. Nikhil, has also posted the website link in the chat section. You can just click on that. And we will have more insightful and informative sessions in the future. So I hope to have you all in the future sessions as well. And stay tuned with us, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a safe one, and thank you very much for attending. And we really look forward to talking to a few of you.